And in this part, let me model a steel column for you as well. Okay, so firstly, I have searched for the IP dimension. Here we can check the dimensions of the profiles of the structural columns, steel columns, which this, and we got their weights, um, and also the section area, watch this, and also the standards, the dimensions, and also the tolerance, and steel grade, steel height or length, that this is the standard length 600 in. So according to these sizes and dimensions, I want to create this profile, new family at first. Then I choose metric structure columns, save my file as ir-metric-IPE- and then suppose that we are using the standard of the DIN25. Here we got the fixed parameters, but I want to rename them. But if you wanted to share the parameters to the schedule table, don't forget to check shared. Firstly, I named this as h, or as height, and the next one as b, and let me change the group parameter under. I want to set them in dimension, not other. However, these are section shape parameters. Let me delete them and create two new ones. First one, edge structural for discipline, and then section dimension for the data type, and dimension for the group parameter under. Then I duplicate it for the next parameter. I name it B. Again, one more duplication for thickness, and another for S, and the next for F, or as fillet. I have organized these in order. Firstly H, B, S, then T and F, like this way, in this order. After that, for weight, I create a new parameter. I name it weight, and I click on here. I create a new type, new IPE, AT. Then I specify 80 for height, 46 for B, 3.8 for S, 5.2 for G, and there is no fillet that I want to specify the same value for T. Then I want to associate this to H, and the next one to B, and I select reference plane. I draw a reference plane here and the other one at the other side, and two horizontal. Then adding dimensions by this way, and also dimensions and equalized. Then I want to associate this to S, and the two others to T as thickness. And then I select extrusion. I start drawing. Watch this. Like this way you can create the IPE sections like this way. Then for the fillets, I check radius, and then I specify 10 degrees. And then I choose to show the dimension with 1 to 50 scale. Then for the bottom part, like this way. Well done. Great. And then 1, 2, 2. Then I select them again. I select the fillets and then I associate them to F. Well done. By this way. Then I want to associate it to S better than before, and then finish. I open the front view, I connect it to upper reference level. Then I select it, I want to specify the material or assign it. Note that you have to check the material parameter to type. Okay. And the point here is that here we got a steel column, and if I add it into project, watch this. In fact, when we select it, we can reinforce it too. So it is not normal to, but only the appearance is steel, but try to brush aside reinforcement here. So we get back to the project to model it correctly. In the family, firstly, for material for model behavior, we set it to steel. Then if I reload it, right now as you can see, steel, reinforcement is not available for steel because it is recognized as a steel column, not concrete. And we don't have any specific parameter here. But for section shape, if I open structural section properties and then I search for I, let's see what do we have here. I parallel flange. If I click on it, then we'll have some new parameters here in the family types that are helping this element for adding the connections. So this is very important, don't forget to do it. And then in the material browser I search for metal and I add the aluminium by this way. Based on the catalog I search for S37. We don't have this. I want to rename this aluminium, for instance. As I specify the name, then click on OK, apply and OK. Again, I check use under appearance by this way. Then I want to save the file again. Then we talked about these properties. Again, I load the file into the project by this way. Let me see. Okay and okay. Here, as you can see, these two are added, and if we want to work more professional for the detail levels, we can consider displayments. For example, in the visibility, we uncheck plan and only find. I turn on the visibility. Then for the medium, I want to consider another extrusion without fillets for the medium detail level by this way. Check this out, finish, and then I connect it to the upper level, unchecking plan and keeping medium. And then for the material I specify this structural. Great. Afterwards I hide them temporarily. Then from annotate tab I select symbolic line, and then I want to set it to structural column projection. Well done. Then I draw a line here. Then reference line, I make sure that it is placed at the center. Let me align it. Firstly, I align it with the top level and the other end with the lower reference level, and then I align it with the face. I open the left view, then I check it. Let me check its position. I draw a rectangle by click and drag H to hide them temporarily. I open the 3D view. I zoom in, turn on the visibility, coarse, medium, and fine. I get back to the fine front view, select. Here as you can see it is shown in all of the detail levels. OK, we click on OK. And then let me see, I open the 3D view, select previous, watch this, it is placed at the edge, coarse, level of detail or detail level, visibility graphic in annotations, location lines. Check this out, we get back to the front view. Afterwards, left view, create tab. The symbolic lines are 2D geometries and here I have to delete it. So I want to use model line instead, since they are visible in other views too. Again, after the selection I click here, then I make sure that I have placed it correctly, center, front, left, right, align, and then we align it by this way and then with the center. Afterwards, in the front view, right now we got it. I selected opening the visibility settings only in coarse. I keep checked coarse. Then I save the file. Turning off the preview, fine. Watch this, save. If I load this into project, overriding the existing working and its parameters, coarse, watch the lines, media, and fine by display. But if I set it to from family, then it follows the settings of the family. Otherwise, from project settings. We set it to project settings, so there is no need to draw the line in the family. And the next point here is that I want to display it in the project, but in only the profile. So I want to open a detail item template file here. Watch this, save the file as ir-m-IPE profile. Then I start drawing the reference planes just we did in the other environment for the 2D geometry or the detail item. We do the measurements, adding the dimensions, and equalize them by this way. Watch this, and equalize, and the other side. Then it's time to associate them to parameters by this way to W, and selecting these two and associating them to T, and this one to I think actually S, and OK. Then I open the line, then I draw it, then I draw the profile. Watch this. Then I add fillets, 10 degrees for the radius. Great. I uncheck keep concentric. like this way. I want to maximize the size to make it visible, like this way. And I associate the fillets to F. Great. Then I want to select field region, so specify the subcategory to invisible lines, pick line. I hold the cursor of the mouse, then I press down tab. Then I can specify a pattern for it or create a new one. Check this out, a steel pattern. Okay. We brush aside the rest of the things and I save the file and then I load it into the family. Firstly, I want to associate the parameters, a steel pattern, okay, F to fillets or F, then I associate edge to edge. In the continuation, S to S and T to T for thickness, and W to W for width. Let me see. We don't have the W. I associate it to width. Cancel. Let me see. Actually, I name it B. I associate it to B. Well done. Then I click on fill pattern, steel pattern. I click a new pattern, create a new pattern, steel, cross, 45 degrees, 3 line spacing, 0.8, 4, 1. If this name already exists, I should change the name. I specify IPE. 0.5 and OK. Apply and OK. 1 to 25 for scale. Then I align the profile with the reference planes. To position them correctly at the center, I open the family environment. Here at the center, we haven't equalized them, so we have to revise it. I should move the central line and watch this. I equalize this, save and load. Okay, to keep them equalized, I lock it and the center by this way. We fix the position. Then when we open the visibility settings, we need to be displayed in all of the detail levels. Opening the 3D view, save and load into the existing version. Right now, if I open the plan view, we got these field patterns instead of the 3D views. If we open the 3D views, as you can see, we got the objects in all of the detail levels, but we got the detail item in the 2D views. And we learned how to create the steel columns, but we have talked about creating different types of steel columns in our Revit structure course.